Hi guys, it's Mark Thompson with Thompson Chiropractic and Superior Recovery and Performance. Today I wanted to talk to you about a concept that I see a lot, and the concept is this: you can't drug yourself healthy. You can't drug yourself into wellness. It's just not possible. If I'm a healthy person and I take a medication, I'm going to make myself sick. If I'm already sick and I take one or more medications, I'm basically going to make myself sicker and sicker. I don't know if you know this, but America is about 5% of the world's population, yet we take about 60% of the world's medications. So if that thinking is correct, then we ought to be the healthiest nation on earth. So I encourage you to go to the World Health Organization's website and look at the statistics, because they grade the health of nations. So when you look at the industrialized nations of the world, you would expect to find America in the very top 10%, or the top country. What you find is we suck. We're at the bottom end of most measured categories of health. So obviously there is a breakdown in this thinking. The thinking is not leading to success, so we need to reevaluate. I do want to draw a distinction here between what I believe is the one area of medicine that is fantastic, and that is emergency medicine. Praise God, we have the best trained emergency physicians, physician's assistants, nurses, procedures, and drugs in the world. And we really are great at emergency medicine. But let's say I have a crisis and I go into the hospital and they save my life. All right, the first thing I'm going to do when I get out is I'm going to sit down and figure out what in the world was I doing wrong that led to this crisis. Because it's not because I have a deficiency of these heart medications or whatever. Okay, it's because there was a failure of diet and lifestyle. Okay, a very small percentage, less than 1%, is going to be genetic or some other thing outside of your control. 99% of what's out there is under your control, and you need to change some of the things you're doing to get a different result. Okay, and by the way, the average is 5 different medications for a heart attack. I get out of the hospital, I'm going to be on 5 or more medications. That's just kind of standard operating procedure. One of those medications is going to be a statin drug. So we're going to talk about where the side effects come in by taking drugs and why it can never lead to health. So I'm on a statin drug to lower my cholesterol, which is a fallacy right there anyway. Cholesterol is not a bad guy. Your liver makes cholesterol. Why, you ask? And the reason is all of your hormones, well, the majority of your hormones, all of your sex hormones, and a lot of the other hormones in your body that regulate how healthy you are and all your body's functions require cholesterol as a backbone to build the hormone on. You have to have it. Your liver will make it. That's why I like to eat it, because then that's just one less thing my liver has to do. But let's say that the medical community tends to look at high cholesterol being equivalent with heart attack risk. So again, I encourage you to check this out, but there is nothing in the research to really substantiate that claim. High cholesterol has no real bearing on heart disease. But let's say I agree with that, and I'm taking a statin drug, and it's lowering my cholesterol. It's blocking my body's ability to make cholesterol. But it doesn't stop it here. It stops it way up line, okay? So now it's blocking my body's ability to synthesize vitamin D, which is like the key to your immune system. That's what turns on your immune functions, all of the organs that make up your immune system. It's a key thing to staying healthy. And then the other thing it blocks is coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10, every single cell of your body that manufactures energy requires CoQ10 to do that. So kids, how many cells is that? That's every single cell of your body requires coenzyme Q10. So that's where the side effects come in. Yes, it's bringing down cholesterol, but it's also, bringing down my body's ability to synthesize these other really good things. So pharmaceuticals are never going to lead to health, okay? So what does lead to health, you say? And I'm going to tell you, it's easy. It's all the basic things. We're going to focus on 4 of the basics, and there's more. But these are 4 that if you don't do, I guarantee you can't get healthy. So number 1 is your autonomic nervous system. And so we have sympathetic, which is fight or flight. It's a stress response, okay? So, chronic stress, a tiger walking in the room, a meth head with a gun, my stress level is going to go way up. And that's as it should be. But when the threat is removed, then it should come back down. But because of our lifestyle and the chronic low-grade stress that we have, traffic, financial concerns, deadlines, things like that, our body doesn't recognize the difference. It's just stress. And so sympathetic tends to outweigh the parasympathetic. But it can be the other way as well. Let's say parasympathetic, which is rest and relaxation, digestion, repair. If either one is out of balance, you're going to have problems. They're going to be different problems, so that's what chiropractic does. Chiropractic balances the autonomic nervous system. Cool thing. And they found that, for example, with heart disease, it's not cholesterol. So what I've been saying for 20 years is really accurate. It's not cholesterol that causes heart attack. What it is basically a catecholamine storm or a stress response that leads to a heart attack. And I just told you that chiropractic, and by the way, chiropractic is the only profession that works on balancing the nervous system, can bring that down and reduce your risk of a crisis. Number 2 is nutrition, and it never ceases to amaze me how the medical community tends to look down and act like, well, it seems, we're going to say it's generally regarded as safe, a lot of supplements. Really? Compared to drugs, do you generally think this is safe, but the drugs really aren't? Here's the problem. Nutrition is foundational. Without it, you'd be dead. It's not alternative. Okay, the alternative is you don't do these 2 things and the others that I'm going to talk about, and yes, you set yourself up for disease, and then you enter into the medical community, and that is the alternative to right living. Okay, so medicine is actually the alternative, not the other way around. You have to have good nutrition. So what I implore you to do is to look at your diet. If you're eating a lot of processed foods, let's just try and gravitate toward real foods. And then once you kind of got that under your belt, then let's take it another step and see if you can add in some organic things. Or better yet, grow your own garden. Have full control over the nutrition that you're getting in your body. But, don't try and go from one end to the other. Take successive steps. Okay? There was a man that went to a yogi in Nepal and said, "Oh, great master, how do I get to Mount Everest?" And he said, "Just make sure that every step that you take is in the direction of Mount Everest." And that's how it is with health. The third thing is going to be exercise. And so it doesn't require a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a couple of videos that show just how little it takes to improve your overall health. But you have to have exercise. It improves your oxygenation of your tissues. It makes your fluids circulate. It massages your organs as you're breathing hard. Your diaphragm is kind of, massaging your internal organs. It does all kinds of wonderful things for you. As a matter of fact, every time that they've ever studied exercise compared to antidepressants, exercise has been as good or better than all of the currently prescribed antidepressant medications. So the last thing, folks, is sleep. Sleep is huge. As a matter of fact, it's probably the greatest source, or lack thereof, lack of good sleep, leading to inflammation and stress. One study took a whole bunch of healthy college kids and deprived them of sleep. They didn't deprive them of all sleep. They still got 2 or 3 hours a night, but it was either at odd times or it was broken up. And by the end of the week, they all had symptoms of fibromyalgia. They had global pains that moved around, aches and stuff. And they couldn't function. Their memory went down. Mental acuity, their energy obviously went down. So here's what I want to say is, when healthy sleep was restored, all those symptoms went away. Okay? So you need to handle your sleep. If you don't have good sleep, let's get to the bottom of that, because that is the biggest source of inflammation and stress. So the 4 things, you got to get adjusted. You need to get adjusted on a regular basis so that you can maintain a good, healthy balance in the autonomic nervous system. You need to strive to eat, well, have good nutrition. If you're going to take supplements, make sure that they're as close to food-based as you can possibly get. Number 3, you're going to exercise, and I'm going to show you more about that later. Number 4, you're going to make sure that you're getting good, restful sleep. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate your views. I appreciate you liking me on Facebook. Remember, it's always the basics. Health always comes from inside out, never from outside in. Thanks for joining me.